Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Sunday News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. Have a message from my book, Words That Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with John Schneider. You guys know him, of course, as Bo from The Dukes of Hazzard, also Jim Cryer from The Haves and Have-Nots. He's had quite the year of highs and lows this year. We talk about that in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, Kevin McCarthy announces he is leaving Congress by year's end. 2 months ago, after his historic ouster as U.S. House Speaker, Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy said on Wednesday that he is resigning and will leave Congress by the end of the year. His announcement capped a stunning end to a House career for the one-time deli counter owner from Bakersfield, California, who ascended through state and national politics to become second in line to the presidency until a cluster of hard-right conservatives engineered his removal in October of this year. McCarthy is the only speaker in history to be voted out of office. No matter the odds or personal costs, we did the right thing, McCarthy wrote in the Wall Street Journal announcing his decision. It is in the spirit that I have decided to depart the House at the end of this year to serve America in new ways. Word about McCarthy's future had been expected days before the filing deadline to seek re-election to the House, but his decision ricocheted across Capitol Hill, where his departure will leave the already paper-thin House majority even tighter with just a few seats to spare. It adds to the wave of retirements in the House, which has been split by Republican infighting and the rare expulsion last week of indicted GOP Representative George Santos of New York, dashing hopes for major accomplishments and leaving the majority straining to conduct the basic business of governing. McCarthy had brought the Republicans into the majority, but found it was much more difficult to lead the GOP faction. His toppling from the Speaker's post was fueled by grievances from his party's hard-right flank, including over his decision to work with Democrats to keep the federal government open rather than risk a shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana, a Republican who succeeded McCarthy as Speaker, tweeted that McCarthy served faithfully and sacrificed substantially for the good of our country and our cause. Speaking later with reporters, Johnson called McCarthy a long and trusted friend and said he was sad to see him go. Representative Matt Gaetz, who led the effort to remove McCarthy, tweeted a one-word response after his announcement: McLeavin. McCarthy, 58, arrived in the House in January 2007 after a stint in the California Assembly where he was minority leader. In Congress, he maneuvered through his party's hierarchy before elected to Speaker in January of this year. In more national news, fake Donald Trump elector settles civil lawsuit in Wisconsin, agree that President Biden won. 10 Republicans who posed as fake electors for former President Donald Trump in Wisconsin and filed paperwork falsely saying he had won the battleground state have settled a civil lawsuit and admitted their actions were part of an effort to overturn President Joe Biden's victory, attorneys who filed the case announced on Wednesday. Under the agreement, the fake electors acknowledged that Biden won the state, withdrew their filings, and agreed not to serve as presidential electors in 2024 or any other election where Trump is on the ballot. The 10 faked electors agreed to send a statement to the government offices that received the Electoral College votes, saying that their actions were part of an attempt to improperly overturn the 2020 presidential election results. In more national news, Mississippi police searching for suspects in shooting that injured 5. Police in Mississippi were searching for suspects after a weekend shooting injured 5 people, leaving one in critical condition. The shooting Saturday took place at a gas station across the street from where people had gathered for an event after a funeral in Macomb, a southern Mississippi city between Jackson and New Orleans. In more national news, Norman-Lear, producer of TV's All in the Family and influential advocate, dies at 101. Norman-Lear, the writer, producer, and director who revolutionized primetime television with All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and Maude, propelling political and social turmoil into the once insulated world of television sitcoms, has died. Lear died Tuesday night in his sleep, surrounded by his family at his home in Los Angeles, said a spokesperson for the family. Lear fashioned bold and controversial comedies that were embraced by viewers who had to watch the evening news to find out what was going on in the world. His shows helped define primetime comedy in the 1970s, launched the careers of Rob Reiner and Valerie Bertinelli, and made middle-class superstars of Carol O'Connor, Bea Arthur, and Red Fox. And finally, in entertainment news, 2023 Taylor's version, The Year in Pop Culture. In weather terminology, they called it rapid intensification, the process by which a storm strengthens dramatically in a short period. In pop culture terminology, they call it Taylor Swift, says the Associated Press. It's not like Swift didn't have big or huge years before this, but 2023, this was ridiculous, said the AP. From the blockbuster Eras tour that conquered the United States before a planet-vanquishing international leg to the re-release of more albums on the road to reclaiming her catalog to the record-smashing concert film to becoming a billionaire, it all made for a year you could reasonably call 2023 Taylor's version. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Maybe your past wasn't the best, but it taught you lessons you can learn from each and every day moving forward. Don't have regrets. Instead, choose to look at them as stepping stones to your next level of greatness. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with John Schneider in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Actor, recording artist, and entrepreneur John Schneider joined me again on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his extraordinary year of life and loss. Here's a bit of our conversation. John, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's been the hardest and I think, oddly enough, most productive year of my life. With the book, with the movie, with the album. It's been a wild ride, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. John, you posted just on Facebook today something that I think leads perfectly into the album and the book. You say this: I know early on I said that this is a very crowded road that we have to walk alone, but I think I'm going to amend that statement. This is a very crowded road that we can't walk alone. We must depend upon the kindness and understanding of other people who are on it. And it seems like that's what you're feeling now with this album and this book. What has it been like for you to see the connection your audience has had with you?
Oh, it's been remarkable. Every morning I write a letter to heaven, and the responses that I'm getting from folks who are, as we say, on the road, and folks, I don't know if you know what that means. What that means is, if you have lost a spouse, you are on a very particular road. Early on in my grief, I was of the opinion that this was a crowded road and I had to walk alone. You know, there are other people on it, but you really can't get comfort. And that may be true in the beginning stages of grief. But I'm coming up on 10 months here, and I'm realizing that at this stage of my walk in grief, and I can get biblical on you, I used to think that, yea, that I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I used to think that was about someone who was like the patient, the person diagnosed, who was trying not to lose a battle with cancer or lose a battle with some malady. Mm-hmm. But now I'm of the mind that is really talking about us.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But let's get on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.